Welcome to the Strong for Life podcast. I'm your host, Conor O'Shea, and I really appreciate you tuning in. If you are enjoying these episodes, I'd really appreciate you taking a moment and rating it 5 stars on Spotify or on Apple or whatever podcast platform you use. This is going to allow more people to find this information. On this week's episode, I am going to go through the exact steps I take with clients when they first come into my program. So the initial place that we focus on with all new clients is their ability to manage time. Time is the number one issue that I see most people tend to have issues with when it comes to training. Actually fitting it into their week is where people go wrong. A lot of people can do something for 6 to 8 weeks, but actually turning it into a complete habit that they adhere to long term is very, very difficult. So we focus on 2 main areas. We focus on their ability to plan their days and their weeks, and then we focus on their first and last hour of their day as well. Okay. And what this does is it gives them more control over their time. It makes them more accountable to what they say they're going to do. And planning is probably the most powerful place you can start when it comes to actually getting results with your training, because when something is planned out, the probability of it happening is much higher. And the example I like to use is planning. It's kind of like writing a contract to yourself. If you say you're going to do this thing, you might say it in your head so no one can hear you. The chances of it getting done is much lower to you actually writing it down on paper. It's like you're writing a contract to yourself, and it's much harder to break that contract, or you can actually review it consistently to see where you need to adjust things going forwards. So before we jump into what I'm going to cover today, though, the questions I think that are really powerful, and I get all new clients to answer these questions as well when they're going through the material. In particular now with the internet, you've seen so many things, but just asking yourself, the first question would be, okay, if I've seen it before, but am I actually doing it? Okay, so that's the first question. The second question is, have I mastered it? And then the final question is, do my results prove that I've mastered it? Okay, because it's not having more information is what you need. It's the consistent application of that information to give you the results you're looking for. And a lot of the times it's actually stripping back all the things you need to be focusing on and just focusing on one thing and doing it really, really well consistently over time. And that's the power of coaching. So when it comes to planning, we focus first on their daily plan and then also their weekly plan. So with their daily plan, we focus on MITs, and this is the short for most important tasks. And this is like your to-do list, but really an MIT is if you get to the end of the day and you still haven't done this thing, that's probably the most important task that you didn't get done that day. Okay. I would recommend keeping it to no more than 1 to 3 MITs. That's going to be the most important thing. And we're going to write down all your MITs for the whole week. So a lot of people just have a to-do list. It's never ending. There's no accountability of when you're going to do these things. With this type of planning, you're actually putting down, okay, what are all the things that I want to get done this week? And we're just going to talk about specifically training and nutrition and lifestyle stuff, because that's what my clients do in the program. But you can apply this to all areas of your life. And you want to put down whatever 7 to 21 things, if it's no more than 3 a day. And then you're going to actually start scheduling them in to each day. So very, very simple. You write a to-do list on a piece of paper. And then on the other side of the paper, you'll make a grid with a box for each day. So it'll be Monday, Tuesday. Then underneath Monday, Tuesday, you'll have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you might just skip Sunday. Okay. So let's just say there's 6 boxes in the grid for your Monday to Sunday, Saturday days. And then you're going to pull in 1 to 3 tasks from your to-do list in each day. So you might be like, okay, I'm going to do my workouts on Monday, on Wednesday, on Friday. I'm going to do my shopping and my prep on Sundays and on Wednesdays, and so on and so forth. Of course, you can put in whatever social stuff, family stuff, whatever other personal stuff you want to put in there as well. But basically every day, then you've 1 to 3 things that are going to result in that day being a success if you get those things done. So that's your weekly plan. And then each day, you're basically going to plan the next day. So let's just say it's Sunday, you're planning tomorrow, and you want to just write out how you want to see tomorrow going. So what time you're going to wake up at. I like to just have my times on the left-hand side of the page. So I wake up at 7 a.m. From 7 to 8, I do my routine. I do some stretches. I do, drink water, get some movement in, and whatever else. And then I might start my work at 9 a.m. Between 9 and 12, I work. I have lunchtime, 12 to 1. From 1 to 5, I work again. And then 5 to 6, I train. 6 to 8 is with loved ones. And then kind of 8 to 9 is whether I want to watch a show, I want to read, and then I'm winding down between 9 and 10, and I'm going to bed between 10 and 11. Okay, that's just a very basic overview of the day. But you would then assign when you're going to do your MIT within that day. So if you were going to do a certain task at 3 p.m., you'll put it in, okay, 3 to 4, I'm going to do my first MIT, and then I'm going to do my second MIT, which is my workout, at 5 to 6 p.m. Okay. And that is basically it. Now it's written down, it's on paper. The power of this as well is when you get into your week, you're going to forget about all the things that you were meant to do, and you're overwhelmed and just people coming at you from all angles. If you've got kids, it's even more challenging. So you can refer back to, okay, let's see, what did I say I was going to do for the week? I'm going to refer back to my weekly plan. It's like my key of what I'm going to do for the whole week. Then I can see, okay, I said on Wednesday, I'm going to do one MIT, and that MIT is prepping my food for the week or for the next 2 or 3 days. So that's all I need to focus on today, and that's it. What I would recommend as well around your planning is to actually do less, but do it more frequently. So a lot of people will start getting overwhelmed when they plan because they don't give themselves enough time for a task. That task turns into taking twice as long, and then they feel like they're failing. So planning, like everything else, it's a skill, something that you will get better at the more you practice it. So at the start, if you are trying to do too many things, which I do as well, and I think most of my clients have this issue as well, just focus on what is the number one thing I want to get done today, and just focus on that, and that is all. And that's the real skill and the power with this, because if you can just execute one thing really well every day, you're going to get exceptional results, whatever your endeavor is. And that's the first thing that we focus on for the first few weeks of the program, is actually setting a plan and a schedule. What makes this really helpful for clients as well is setting their weekly floor. So let's just say on their hell week is what I like to call it. Everything's going wrong for you. What can you commit to that week? It's most likely not going to be 6 60-minute sessions. It's probably going to be 2 20 to 30-minute sessions, maybe 2 15-minute sessions a week. And that's what your floor is, and you never go below that. So every single week now for the next, indefinitely, you will be doing 2 sessions a week at least for 15 to 30 minutes. And anything above that's a win. And then most of the clients in the program will be generally doing 3 sessions a week for kind of 45 minutes. That's kind of the standard. Some do 4, but generally kind of 3 by 45 minutes. But on the really busy weeks, they don't skip their week. They just scale it back and do 2 20-minute sessions, 2 15-minute sessions. Okay. So that's the planning side of things. Then the other thing that we focus on is the AM routine and the PM routine, because the 2 big things that people have issues with is time and energy levels. Okay. So if you're not sleeping properly, you're going to be tired. If you're tired, you're going to be making poor decisions when it comes to food. You're not going to feel like you have the energy or the time to do your workouts. So everything goes out the window. If we can control the last hour before bed, then your wind down is going to be much better. You're not going to be on something like TikTok until 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And as a result of that, you're going to sleep a lot better as well. So they're the areas that we focus on when it comes to the wind down. And ideally, you'll do a 60-minute wind down before bed. And what this means is you turn off all electronics an hour before bed. Give your time and space to actually wind down versus watching something really intense on Netflix, being on social media, and then expecting yourself to wind down. It's not because you're like a light sleeper or you have an issue with sleep. It's that you're overstimulated. Okay. And this also is related to the things like caffeine. If you're drinking caffeine after 2 p.m., I'd recommend pulling that back as well. But just giving yourself space in that last hour before bed, and also basically time, and it's giving your body signaling that you're starting to wind down, you're starting to get ready to sleep. So then in an hour's time, when you get into bed, you're not just there with your eyes opened. And the better we get at our wind down, the better you're going to sleep throughout the night. And of course, if you have young kids under four years of age, this is not really going to be as applicable for you guys, but for most people out there, you can apply this really well. Some people as well tend to struggle with wind downs. They're used to just watching Netflix until midnight, 1 a.m., and then just falling into bed or falling asleep watching it. So if that's you, what you want to focus on is just scaling your wind down. So you might start with 15 minutes, then after 2, 3, 4 weeks, build it up to a half an hour, and then 45, and then an hour. And also, you don't have to do it every day. Of course, Friday night, Saturday night, you might want to hang out with your significant other, your kids, your friends, your family, whoever, and watch a movie or catch up, or you're out. So don't feel like you need to do the wind down every day. But if you could do it like Sunday to Thursday, you're winding down somewhere between 15 and 60 minutes, then that's going to have a huge impact on your sleep quality. Your sleep quality then is going to result in you having more energy and most likely not having as much of an issue of waking up in the morning. And then we start attacking your morning routine. And there's lots of different blogs and YouTube videos on this, like the morning routine for high performers, the morning routine for billionaires, millionaires, whatever. Really, the morning routine just needs to be something where ideally you don't check your phone for that first, again, 15 to 60 minutes, if possible. You can get an alarm clock, like an analog alarm clock, a kitchen timer, something that's going to keep you away from your phone when you're doing stuff in the morning. And then I recommend just doing some sort of movement. So any sort of sun salutations, a mobility flow. If you go on my YouTube channel or my Instagram channel, you can find all that stuff. Or getting outside, getting some fresh air for the first 5-10 minutes of the day, and getting some movement and getting some blood flow. Okay, so you get up, have a shower, have some water, do some movement, sit for 1 minute in silence. So again, doing meditation for 20 minutes would be optimal, but you want to sit for a minute because you can't really talk yourself out of sitting for a minute. And then you can review your daily plan. So if you plan the night before, you can review it, or you might just plan your day in the morning as well, whatever's going to work better for you. And that's your morning routine looked after as well. Okay. And that's basically where we start with everything. So we start with their planning, their week, first of all, so they have an overall template. Then they plan their days, and then they start focusing on their evening routine and their morning routine. And this is like building a foundation for a house, and you're actually focusing on the foundation. And this is where a lot of the fitness industry, they just say, okay, you're going to cut your calories to 1200 if you're a woman, and you're going to do HIIT workouts 4 or 5 days a week, and you're going to eat these meals. And it's like, they haven't thought about you having a life, having already been time poor, already having energy issues, and they don't realize that they're just throwing concrete and blocks on a non-existent foundation. So this just builds a foundation for you. So as a result of that, your chances of sustaining your training going forwards is going to be much more realistic. And the results my clients are getting when they initiate this planning, this AM and PM routines, and also scale it to make it work for their lifestyles is super powerful. So even if you start planning 1 or 2 days a week, you do a 15-minute wind down, 15-minute morning routine, 4 times a week, that's awesome, because you're doing it 4 times a week now versus 0 times a week and feeling overwhelmed all the time, not having any idea where all the weeks and months are going past, and also not having any metrics to track. And this is where it gets super powerful over the months, where clients can actually see, oh, last week went really well because I only focus on one thing each day. And Saturday, Sundays, I just didn't think about it. Monday to Friday, everything was dialed in. Whereas the previous week, I tried to do 3 things every day. I ended up doing nothing. I got overwhelmed and frustrated. So I'm going to stick doing one thing each day going forwards. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, you can let me know through Instagram at Conor O'Shea Fit, CONOR O'Shea FIT. Thank you for watching and listening.